Hello, I'm Jack Ox, and I'm Creative Director of Intermedia Projects, a nonprofit located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We are located right now in the international headquarters, and you can see some fragments of the 800 square foot visualization of Kurt Schwitter's Ur Sonata installed on the walls. But today, we're going to talk about our prototype project for the Legacy of Artists Scientists online museum with virtual tours. Both the exhibitions and the tours are created by the artists themselves. What do we mean by the term legacy? In this case, each artist must have at least 30 to 40 years of conceptual development of their work so that future researchers will be able to look at the source of their work and see how it developed.
Today I will narrate the slides for our prototype Legacy of Artists Scientists online museum. During the live presentation, I will demonstrate a draft virtual tour of my section on Debussy's Nuages. Rich Gold was a composer, cartoonist, artist, and researcher who held 10 patents. At Sega, he invented Little Computer People, the first fully autonomous, commercially available computerized person. At Mattel Toys, he was the manager of the Power Glove. Gold joined Xerox PARC in the early 90s, where he was a researcher in ubiquitous computing. In 1994, he created and ran the PARC Artist in Residence program, which paired fine artists and scientists together based on shared technologies. He was also manager of research and experimental documents at Xerox PARC, which looks at the creation of new document genres by merging art, design, science, and engineering. Early in his life, Rich Gold decided to become an artist/writer with a deep interest in mathematics. He began creating works in series and sets, an early adopter of the microprocessor as a tool for art making and ultimately for thinking. He was interested in structures, processes, patterns, game theory, and variation and narratives generated by the recombination of elements. He explored generative permutations that were precursors to what we now call automata. The tool, the toy, and technology were linked by thought and communicated via books, drawings, paintings, programs, music, talks, and performances as he moved through the stages of his life in the art world and then the corporate world of product design and research. Raywin Turner and Brian Harris create experimental sensory works that combine art, science, and technology using electronics, sensors, and microprocessors to consider emerging issues. In their work, they question the human relationship to the world of sensory substitutions, digital synesthesia, and technology. They are interested in sensing subliminal odors, particles, and senses, referring to old powers and knowledge systems and alchemies that affect mind and emotion. They want to bring subsensory signals and their equivalents into perception. It is in auditory, visual, and olfactory signals outside the human bandwidth where important information is relayed. The visceral senses are intimately subjective, but also rely on context. The context is the many wraparound layers of our social, economic, political, real, and sensed environments, including fragrance in the work, is a portal into those layers. I, Jack Ox, have been creating visualizations of music since 1977. In the beginning, I considered them visual performances of pre-existing scores. My first visualizations were from Gregorian plainsong, then Bach, Stravinsky, Debussy, Bruckner, and Kurt Schwitter's famous sound poem, the Ur Sonata. I began working with the Ur Sonata when I lived in Germany. While there, I found a copy of Schwitter's reciting the complete poem in the Dutch computer music world. This caused a ruckus because no one in the Schwitter's world or the art world knew of this recording, not even his son Ernst. This is the recording from which we made scores and the final visual performance of 800 square feet. After returning to New York City in the 90s, I began to work with Dave Britton on the virtual color organ, an application that plays visualizations with the music that Britton later coded to take live music and create real-time visualizations in the Grid Jam. This is an example of scientific visualization as the algorithmic mappings from the source domain of music into a target domain of visual representation of the music. The online exhibition, You Are the Network, is presented by the artist Scott Gresham Lancaster, who is a composer, performer, and maker. As a member of the Hub, he is an early pioneer of networked computer music and has developed many cell phone operas. He has created many of co-located international internet performances, new media installations, and work developing audio for several computer games and interactive products. The virtual tour is an extension of the artist's work using online resources for the creation of complex auditory networks that focuses on ways of listening for information. This tour reveals the culturally based acceptance of using our ears as well as our eyes to understand the world. It will be a version of cellphonia.org, a cell phone opera user website. Users have the opportunity to listen and record their audio interactions with evolving landscapes made from their voices and voices of others who have called before. Sonification of real-time data streams from the Dow Jones average and the current weather will perturb the auditory stream in a constant evolution of action and reactions. The participants interact with real-time and the past to create a sonic future. Peter Bale's work is both motivated by aesthetics and philosophical concerns, and often is inspired or informed by scientific principles and methodologies. Algorithmic thinking and complexity theory are exemplars. He explores computer programming as a means to solve artistic questions. Generative art is the overall denominator of an art practice where the artist invents abstract systems, a kind of virtual machine. Once implemented, these machines manifest themselves in time and space. The behavior implied in the algorithm becomes observable. Manifestations of such systems happen in a wide range of actual media, from machine drawings to interactive audiovisual installations to on-the-fly edited movies. Questions of materiality are also addressed: how to translate digital artifacts into the analog world as to make them available for grounded experience. In addition, his work explores advanced forms of musical human-machine interaction. Machine learning methods allow for human-machine cooperation in close creative partnership.